Robert asked me to talk about, I guess, vocal presentation, tone and timbre and all that kind of stuff. Songwriting, of course, is a craft, but also vocalization of your song is also a craft. That's why there is professional vocalists. And of course, the more you practice, like anything else, the better you get at it. But the easiest way that I can describe to make a song far more interesting is, of course, by dynamics. And a lot of people think that dynamics is just the loud and the soft, but it's not. It's only a small portion of dynamics. There's two other components to the dynamics, which is the timbre, the placement of your vocals. So from head, nasal cavities, mouth, throat, chest, all through there gives you a very different sound. And then the intensity of what it is you're singing, the emotion that comes out through it. And the easiest way to kind of demonstrate that is through spoken word, because we use it so naturally when we speak. Of course, we don't even think about it. It's like driving. Once you learn how to drive, you don't think about driving anymore. You just do it, and sometimes you don't even know how you got from A to B. But so, for example, if I want to say, without any intensity or any emotion, oh my God, the car just blew up. Or, oh my God, the car just blew up. There's a huge difference in the intensity. And of course, I raised the volume a little bit. And also where you place it in your voice. So the first one is, oh my God, the car just blew up, which almost sounds boring, but it's all kind of down here. It's soft, it's gentle, it's quiet. Then when you go, oh my God, the car just blew up, it raises up into here. You're getting more of an angst sound because you're using more of a closing of a throat and so on and so forth. Depending on what the song is, a lot of this is going to change. One of the best examples that I've ever seen of someone using everything, I don't know if you've heard or had a chance to listen to The Sound of Silence by Disturbed. Has anybody heard that? The guy is phenomenal. Look it up. He's a hard rock, heavy metal guy. But he starts out in almost a whisper. It's incredible. It's a beautiful, beautiful sound. And he's using these gorgeous chest vocals, and it sounds, you feel like you're right in nothing, in silence. And then he slowly builds and he gets into the next verse, and he loses some of the whisper tone, and it becomes more, you can almost feel the vocal, moving through his mouth as if it's his normal speech. And then he goes in, by the end of it, I mean, he's this full-on heavy metal, with the whole yelling thing going on. But the dynamics are incredible. So
What's his name again, Cailin?
Disturbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Disturbed. And Sound of Silence, by the Simon & Garfunkel song. So I really encourage you to just have a look at that, at how much range you can put into vocal dynamics. So it's just like, when you're watching a movie, they have areas that's dead silent. You can hear a pin drop, or you just hear somebody's footsteps, or they have areas, places where they put background noises, or they have music, background music. This is all the dynamics of a film. And they have, of course, the big loud scenes, and they have the real quiet scenes. So when you're presenting a song, you want to try to do the same thing. The easiest way to do that is to take the lyrics of your song and speak them. Don't sing them, speak them. Speak them as if you are trying to portray, or to somebody that's sitting in front of you, the emotion that you're trying to portray. So become an actor. Just become an actor. Read your lyrics and act it out as if you're trying to get that emotion or that idea to that other person. So if you're putting in a lot of, if it's a really sad song, if you want to say something like, this hurts, you're hurting me, this hurts. Well, there's a couple of ways. You want to have it an angry hurt, or do you want to have it a really painful hurt? You have to think about that. So if it's just a painful hurt, you can say, just like when you speak it, it hurts, or it hurts, right? And then you get this vocal fry thing going on. Angst, it hurts. You can get some of that into your vocal when you're singing. Or if you're angry, it hurts, you can get nasty about it. So take your song, take your lyrics, break it down line by line, figure out what the emotion is behind it. Speak it out as if you're really trying to act it out to the person who's listening. And then try to put that in your singing. Any questions?
Yes, Caitlin.
Yes.
Would it also be dictated by the word that you're singing? Like if the word is a soft word, would you necessarily, or like you just described, depending how the emotion is being expressed, a soft word like love, for example. So I guess what I'm understanding is, so I could be angry at that word.
Yeah, absolutely.
And express it that way, or I could be hurtful at that word.
Absolutely.
And that's how I will try to present it as I'm reading it.
Exactly.
Like,
put the emotion in it.
Put the emotion in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's going to hold the interest of the listener, right?
Cailin, do you find that do you have to be conscious of where your voice is coming from, or is it just that you think about the emotion and it naturally comes out of where it should come out of?
It takes practice. You do have to think about it in the beginning, just like driving. You've got to think about. So it does help if you're going through your lyrics, to say, okay, I want to feel the angst here. Maybe a head voice or a bit of a nasal voice might work in this area, or maybe I want to bring it down and make it real chesty here, like, whoa, real sexy, and bring it down. Whatever. How do you want it to feel? And the different places where you place your voice has a big impact on how the emotion can come out, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I like the idea of speaking out the word, speaking out your song, just to see where, because sometimes there's a natural melody already in the way that we speak.
Absolutely.
In English, or if you're doing something in another language, like French or Spanish especially, is very musical in its delivery already, so you want to capture that in your melody too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a really good suggestion. I don't know if I've ever taken that step to record my audio track, and then before writing the vocal melody, even sometimes just take the lyrics that I've got and just read them over the music.
It was Dean Martin, I think. No, Frank Sinatra. He would read his lyrics for days and hours, and just read them over and over, speak them over and over and over and over again until he got the phrasing that he wanted and the emotion that he wanted to put through it.
I think if you write down your lyrics and you go through them, as you were saying, line by line, and you go through and say, okay, that's a word that's emphasized, that's a word that's emphasized. If it's on the beat or it's not on the beat or whatever.
Yeah, and that comes to prosody with,
Yeah, and what I've done sometimes is I'll actually put little squiggles, okay? This word is going to go like that. It's going to be a da-da-da, or it's going to go where it's going to swoop up.
Put a scoop in
or,
it.
you know, and I sort of do little visual things over the words so that when I sing it the next time, it will be similar to the way I decided to sing it as I was going through this
Yeah,
process.
well, that has a lot of has to do with melody as well.
Yeah.
I would recommend as an exercise that the next time you show up, you know, pick a song and work on it, and then play it for everybody next week, and then get the feedback and see if they can hear the emotion in it. They can get the feeling of what it is that you're trying to portray. Yeah. All right.
I think we should all be disturbed next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one example. I mean, think if you go out to any of the great vocalists, and just really listen carefully, and you can hear them moving from their chest into their head and back and so forth, and emphasizing through that. So I would really highly recommend just listening to where they place their vocals, when they get loud, you know, when they don't.
Is it possible to sing a chest and a head tone at the same pitch?
Yeah, sure. Robert's asking if I could sing a chest tone, a tone in chest and head, just to show you the difference. So a chest is it's big, a big open, wide throat, and big through the chest. I mean, you think opera singer, right? And then you can. I'm gonna bring it off, and now it's in my throat. And then I can bring it up into my nose. You know, and then head voice is a little low for me. Okay, which is just going up into head. Or if I. Now you can actually that goes up into the back of my throat. But I can also bring it down and make it big, heavy chested as well. Do you hear the difference there? Yeah. So those are the kind of things that you would want to use depending on what your song is trying to portray. Yeah? Okay. Any last questions? I'm going to hand it over to Robert.
Thank you, Cailin.
You're
I was
very
just
welcome.
going to say that I guess
It was
Peter
great.
Mercury would be an interesting one to follow.
Mercury? I don't know. I'd have to go. Freddie Mercury. Oh, God,
Freddie
yes.
Mercury. Excuse
Oh,
not
for
Peter.
God's sake, yes.
Freddie Mercury, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know-
Yeah.
Who I would suggest listening to is K.D. Lang's
Yes.
God.
Yes. That's another one.
49th Peril. She does these covers of all the Canadian songs.
Yeah.
Her treatment of songs is like, it's all about the song. It's all about the song. It's not a Mariah Carey performance. It's the song. And
She's one of the best vocalists there are out there. So that that's another really great one to listen to. Yeah.
What about Yoko Ono?
Yeah. Aren't you funny, Shirley? Oh, it's nice, really nice to see everybody. So have fun with the rest of your session.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Cailin.
Thanks
You're
so much.
welcome.
How many here have taken professional singing?
I've had a lesson or two from a professional singing coach.
Okay.
So that's not the same, obviously, but
The closest,
I was taught a few vocal warm-ups by a singing coach, but no specific lessons or anything.
the closest I've gotten is with the Lakeshore Light Opera group that I'm part of here, where we perform plays from Gilbert and Sullivan. So the musical director has taught me a few things too, but usually it's going along with the song that I'm learning, and I haven't been able to transfer necessarily over to what I do.
Yeah,
and-
Gilbert and Sullivan is pretty extreme.
Yeah, and I was going to say in that Broadway musical
Tradition.
genre, you get a lot of variety, but often in the cast, I can't hear you, sing out, right? And that's not always what you got to do, right? So yeah.
I did.
Some- If you,
Sorry.
sorry, Claire.
Yeah. I did a few months of classical voice training, but it it doesn't translate as well as I thought it might to sort of like the pop stuff that I tend to do. I was doing it so I could like audition for choirs because I've got a substantial choral background, but I did some classical voice lessons and it was nice, but I don't know if the way I sing otherwise changed at all.
I think a lot of songs sort of evolve with your voice the more you sing them.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think a lot of that comes with the emotion that you put in the song and as you get familiar. And I think a lot of that comes with the more you sing it, the more it develops into something more emotional, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, there's songs that I've been singing for like just a few months versus like for a few years, and the ones I've done for a few years, like they feel a lot more sort of like settled in, sort of thing. And I think I agree.
I find also that if you know your lyrics so well that you don't have to think about them, then you can focus on, like I did anyways. Then you can really focus on getting what you want out of it or whatever to make some difference. Yeah. It's Cailin's a great teacher. I mean, she teaches over Zoom if you want. I didn't ask her about that. I don't know if she wants to do any of that, but she's there to do it. But I know what you mean. Like Cailin has a lot of church initially, choir stuff, and then musical theater stuff that she did, and then some rock band stuff. And she's been doing ever since we hooked up for 15, 16 years, doing everything. Was doing Grace Slick and doing Steely Dan and all this stuff and making her work it out, right? And sometimes I say, just get out of the church, because it's easy to fall into those habits. I mean, I have a habit of, because I did so much country music when I was for 10, 15 years working with all these different country artists. I was mostly doing harmonies, right? But you still have to blend, and there's a certain singing timbre and certain style to it. So I end up falling into this crutch of country-ish things in my voice, right? And as opposed, so I have to watch it, right? Otherwise, if I want to do something that is definitely not that, then it takes work, right? So,
Yeah, my daughters at a very young age, they joined a choir, and it was an amazing experience, just what they could learn, but singing with others and the whole harmonizing. My one daughter, my older daughter, she is such a good harmonizer. She's so popular with other people because she just steps back, and everybody loves to sing with her because she steps back. But then right after the choir, they were in a school for the arts where they took musical theater, like Cailin, and you put those two things together. It's you learn to sing with others, and you learn to say so much with your body and your face. And I took them to this, I think it was, anyway, it was a workshop, and there was one of the guys from the Nylons who was giving this vocal instruction. Two things and he demonstrated, which was amazing. He got these three girls to sing something together, great harmonies, and then they did it again, and this time he brought their eyes up, and they had to make eye contact with everybody. And they couldn't read it, and it was like, bingo, first thing, never read your lyrics on stage. Never, never, never read lyrics on stage, because it's between you and that sheet of paper. And then you're looking at the people when you're singing, massive difference. You're singing to the people, not to the sheet of paper.